I'm a fan of three things: Mother 3, Talking Heads, and Twin Peaks. What all three of these have in common is they ended. Twin Peaks ended its story 25 years after originally getting cancelled. The members of Talking Heads can't stand each other. And then you have Mother 3. When asked about the potential for another entry in the series, Shigesato Itoi said Mother 4 is totally impossible. He single-handedly wrote the script for all three games. Given the tremendous amount of care and attention to detail that went into making each installment, it should come to you as no surprise that making any Mother game is no easy task. According to one of the team members behind the unofficial English translation, Mother 3's script was nearly 1,000 pages long. Some of you might think if Mother 4 is completely off the table, maybe a remake is still possible, but I'm going to say that's not likely going to happen either. At first, it sounds like a great idea. Why not remake the trilogy with updated visuals and gameplay? Not only would that be giving fans what they want, it would also make the series more accessible to new players who have yet to experience it themselves. I don't know about you, but that sounds an awful lot like the motivation behind the Final Fantasy VII Remake. The game received overall great reviews from both fans and new players alike. But if you ask any longtime fan, they'll tell you it's more of a reimagining than anything.
What a disappointment. We were expecting magic. We were expecting the best game in the world. We were expecting an interactive movie.
This isn't so much a remake as it is Final Fantasy VII for a new generation, and that's not a bad thing, but it would be for the Mother series. Every time a AAA game releases, it seems like there are multiple articles published alongside it, detailing developers' experience with publishers, fast approaching deadlines, unpaid overtime, and flat out getting fired after a project is finished. This isn't even scratching the surface. This has been an open secret in the video game industry for years. So much, in fact, that publishers like EA won the title Worst Company in America 2 years in a row, beating out competition like Bank of America, Comcast, and Ticketmaster. This problem continues to plague the industry and isn't exclusive to only America. The very idea of remaking any Mother game under these conditions would go against everything that they stood for. In an interview with Nintendo Dream, Itoi was asked why he chose to continue using sprite-based graphics instead of CG models. He said, "Flashy CG just isn't an option for me. I often find myself thinking how ordinary CG is. I figured because we're drawing a picture, it's better to just draw something suitable and disconnect it from the trends around us." Unlike some of Nintendo's other IPs, Mother isn't a series they can continue without Itoi's consent. In Japan, Itoi is a man of many trades. Game developing is just one. He's also a musician, actor, director, and owner of his own company. They specialize in selling daily life products in Japan. I happen to own his Mr. Saturn planner that his company put out in 2016. This is just one person's opinion, but I think Nintendo should just make the entire series available for anyone to play, in whatever form that takes, whether that be physical or digital. I'm sure it'll sell decently well. For those of you who are bummed by this series concluding, let me leave you with this. In an industry that continues to thrive on recognizable IPs that generate sequels, remakes, and spin-offs, it comes as a rare statement to proclaim the end of a series. In Mother's case, it feels a lot more like a triumphant victory than it does sad. By all accounts, this series shouldn't have gotten past the first game. The sales in Japan were modest at best, and despite the game being translated into English, the localization was cancelled at the last minute. Despite this, the sequel was localized, albeit under a different title. Here in the States, Earthbound notoriously underperformed in sales, resulting in it later becoming one of, if not the, cult game. The third game in the series originally started development all the way back in 1994 for the Nintendo 64 and its planned add-on, the Disk Drive. This version of the game was cancelled, and it wasn't until 2003 when the project was revived onto the Game Boy Advance. The history of this series is riddled with these ups and downs, and it's a miracle one, let alone 3, came out. The way they chose to announce the third game's development was to add a little message at the end of a commercial for the Game Boy Advance compilation Mother 1+2. The message basically read, "Oh, and Mother 3 is currently in development. Bitch." These games feel like a passion project, and that's in large part because they essentially were. Former president and CEO of Nintendo, Satoru Iwata, worked on Mother 2 as a program director. When the game was falling behind in development, Iwata stepped in to rewrite the game's code. He was a big supporter of Mother 3's development when he was later promoted in his career. In recent years, Nintendo has been more vocal in acknowledging the series and its devoted fan base.
Come on, Reggie, give us Mother 3!
How about this instead?
Just because the series is wrapped up doesn't mean it's over.
とても個人的な感情なんですけれども、自分がいろんなタイプの仕事をしてきたんですけれども、マザーを作った、アースバウンドっていう作品を作ったっていうことが、なんか自分の人生にとても僕が影響を与えたというよりは、作って皆さんがやっててくれたことが僕に影響を与えてくれた。
I don't expect a remake to come out, but I know getting these games ported over to newer hardware is always still a possibility. It's happened before. These games don't ever need to be remade or remastered because they're perfectly fine the way they are. The series had a great run, and I for one am happy to see it finally reach a conclusion.
ポエ